Okay, so this one you were shooting people, so you had to do one portrait, another one that was kind of narrative style, and then just two more that had people in them. Um, Interesting use of the colors and stuff with this. Something to experiment with. Use your motion as well as if you use a flash on your subject, it'll freeze them, and then these lights will kind of create a cool kind of motion blur. Just something, just an idea to play with it. Um, yeah. Cool, and you'll also see if you photograph bands and music that or theater, these colors always throw off the white balance. But no, good work on that one. All right, nice portrait. Small thing. I wish that light. I'm sorry, that line, that power line, wasn't coming out of her head. But yeah, you can obviously see where the sun's coming from. She really pops out of the background like that. If you haven't experimented with reflectors yet, that little bit of pop of light might have helped. But yeah, looks good. I also like that, with your portrait, she's not looking directly at the camera. Cool. Um, Fun. I mean, talk to with all these photos you've been taking about the company that you're working for, and see if they want to use any of them for the website. And just make sure you're either getting paid or you get to put your name on the photo. When you're photographing people, try to keep in mind when you're cropping people. Try not to do it at the elbow, the wrist, the neck, the knee, the leg, because it almost looks like they're missing that body part. So you can get away with cropping in the middle of a body part. Just try not to do it right on um, the elbow, the knee, that sort of thing. Cool. So yeah, this one kind of compared when I was talking to the other one, just seeing this motion because she's perfectly still, but getting that motion, you definitely see action and stuff in there. So yeah, good with those. I think the black and white definitely works as well. Okay. Um, Look at your tilt a little bit. It's kind of tilting to the left. Um, do we need this stuff in the background? Maybe just crop in here, or maybe the tilt, maybe accentuate it a little bit more, tilt it even more to the left, and maybe crop in a little bit. Try that. I always I photographed him a couple times, and like this reflection of him is always kind of cool. And maybe the image is more just kind of right in there. You might not be able to crop in that far, but if you could have zoomed in more to see that. Okay, I think it could just be maybe a little bit brighter. Also think about your cropping like at the knees and the elbows and stuff like that. Yeah, I think this one may be a little bit better than the other one, and the tilt works on this. Again, maybe a little bit brighter. What I like doing a lot with people is backing up, zoom in as much as your camera can, or depending on the zoom, but pretty close, and then back up and zoom in, and then you'll get a lot shallower depth of field in the background, as well as a lot of people aren't comfortable in front of the camera, so you like remove yourself from the equation there a little bit. Um, this one, I don't know if you photographed it inside. It looks a little grainy, so think about that. Um, and maybe just that tiny bit of crop, so it's all just solid brick wall and not that line right there. Let's see. 100 ISO? Well, no. I don't know. For some reason, maybe it's just your upload. Maybe you cropped in or something. It looks a little like some digital noise there. But yeah, just keep taking more and more and more people, different times of day, early in the day, late in the day, sun coming from behind, sun coming in their eyes, all that sort of stuff. And if everybody hasn't Google search a lot of people images, play with that as well. See, I like this one, just the emotion. There's a little bit more emotion there. Even though there's stuff in the background, it's more of a place than we're thinking about it or looking at all that. We're definitely looking all here. I would, again, maybe just brighten this one up and then just watch where you're cropping as well. But yeah, I like that one. That one might just work in black and white as well. Something to try. So maybe, but at least I think if you bring up your brightness and then maybe some contrast with your brightness. But yeah, I don't know. Your decision. Okay, let's go back. Um, Okay. Yeah, and even though this one is dark, it's just this, you set the scene definitely with this light, the one light here, a little bit of story with, can't tell, is a tambourine over there. Yeah, and then it just definitely goes out into this black space over here. So you can definitely see that you've taken some of what you learned in the experience with your still life assignment and controlling light, and using it here. Yeah, good job on that one. Cool, maybe a little bit brighter, just because we care a lot about her face. Kind of the rule is with people that you always want to make sure their eyes are sharp and in focus. Everything else doesn't matter quite as much. I think your other image, if I was comparing these two, works a little bit better, but um, nice. So more for your narrative. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could, make up your own stories about that person. This would definitely work great in a photo story. I mean, I wish that car wasn't in the reflection, but that's me being picky about this one. Yeah, good job with that one. Yeah, another good one, catching a moment. Your next assignment this week is going to be culture. So these couple things could work with that. Yeah. Yeah, and I think this one definitely works with her, even though she's walking out of the frame, doesn't bother me as much. Um, Tiny thing, I might crop out the white car bumper there, and then maybe even in a little bit. I don't know. I'd have to see it, but that might work. And like over here, this doesn't bother me as much. Maybe it's because the shadow, it's kind of showing us what's there, but that car bumper I think could go. Yeah, so definitely good find with that one. Great expression. It seems like with the photos you have, he almost lives with that passy in his mouth. Um, Yeah, and like I was saying about the eyes being sharp, eyes definitely sharp, and everything else kind of falls out of focus. I like that one. Play with your white balance a little bit. To me, it looks a little orange. And of course, I can just be my monitor because everybody's monitor is different. But yeah, nice close up, fill in the frame with it. You get the emotion from him. If I was comparing the two, I like the other one a little bit better than this one. I think it'd make a difference. Like if he's standing up, 3 feet in the air on a high chair, and then you have that space, so you can see the legs of the high chair, something as well as him standing up. That might make, for an interesting photo. I love his shirt with the tool belt on there. Good. And again, just the color to me is a little bit kind of bluish. Um, but yeah, you're slowly more and more filling the frame, getting close. You can definitely tell your images have, improved throughout the semester. Yeah, just the expression on him and that you're not caring about him completely looking at you. This one looks a little soft, but I think that can kind of be overlooked. I think this one might be really cool in black and white, maybe just because the age of the individual. But yeah, fill in the frame, and you can always crop the top of the head, but you can't crop in on the chin. You can't get away with it as much. People do it, but I mean, this is perfect framing for a movie. This guy's talking, and then they have somebody else on this side of the frame, and they're talking to each other. So yeah, that works really well. Okay. So as you can see here, this is definitely sharper than this one. There's a little bit more just kind of blur to it, and I don't know if it didn't focus or if it was a slower. No, it shouldn't have been the shutter speed. It might have just not quite focused good enough. But yeah, see with here in the chin, like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this one definitely does work. Maybe try it again in black and white. But other than that, and you can see kind of how the harsh light, like your book had talked about, you get all these kind of creases and wrinkles in the face, which for men you can get away with a lot more, whereas women you don't want to show off wrinkles or anything. So definitely good work with these. I'd try a couple in black and white maybe, and if you find more people to photograph, um, yeah, just keep trying this. I know some people uh, photographing people is like pulling teeth, whereas other people, they love to shoot people and working with them. Good with the motion blur here. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Using your fill in the frame and everything. Good. And I don't know if you asked them to hold hands or not, but just showing that connection between them. Before they could have been two friends, but now we know they're probably grandparents. And I wonder with a photo like this, back to Liam's photo of that woman sitting on the park bench. We always kind of talk about filling the frame and all that, but it was so wide, I think it worked. And I wonder, like with this one, had your people just been kind of down here, and then if they're sitting by the woods or something, filled the frame with your background as well. But no, it's nice getting close to them and yeah, seeing them. Good. I mean, compared to the other one, just the nice pop of color works really well. When you have a group of people, until you do it 100 times, it's hard to kind of see everything. And a lot of times, having an assistant or a friend or something there, because I could get picky and say, well, that base is almost going through her face. Why didn't we just angle it over slightly a little bit more? Um, could we have more done boy girl boy girl? Maybe put the base not quite so centered because it's kind of heavy centered. Me being picky about all this, but yeah, photographing a group can be difficult. Other than those little things, yeah, I think it works really well. Sometimes also you can't shoot too wide because you can always crop in a little bit. It might have been nice to be able to see that guy's feet and not cropped right there. Um, yeah, I wonder how many of these you took, or I always like levels. So had you have taken, a milk crate to have somebody sit on, or had the woman, well, I guess she plays stand-up bass, so she wouldn't have a stool. But if had he brought his chair, like he was actually playing that instrument, and then did you also get some shots of them actually playing, so they're really kind of in motion, not necessarily showing the motion blur, but just some action there. And I just wonder if that one, if you like that image any better, if had you shot any of those. Yeah, great little portrait here. This stick and this frames her really nicely. Even, soft, nice light. I'm assuming you're either in the shade or it's an overcast day, so you've seen how that can work really well, that you don't have to have lighting equipment or anything. And you can have, if you shot in the same place over the course of an hour, if the sun's out, you have to worry about where the sun's going, how it's shifting. But if it's overcast or in the shade, you don't have to worry about that. So you could photograph every single individual just popping through this one place when you like the background. Let's see. Yeah, be careful of this, that slow shutter speed. I know you're probably trying to figure out your ISO, but really, really take that in consideration because you're going to be moving the camera. You're going to tell her to stay still, but she might still have a little bit of motion. So I probably would have definitely not shot slower than a 60th of a second, but maybe more like 1/25th or something like that. So just keep that in mind when you're, especially when you're photographing people because they're moving a little bit. Okay. So great. Thank you, everybody. I'll be in touch by Moodle and email, and talk to you all soon.